Hi everybody. In today's video we're going to be going over Guild Raid and what to look out for in Guild Raid, basically the mechanics of it all. So just hop right in and I'll explain what units you might want to use and stuff like that afterwards. So we're just going to go into the level 1 Guild Raid just so I can show you guys. I'll just immediately kick you in, by the way. So you just want to have your units ready beforehand. We're going to run this comp just to show everything what's going to happen. So first off, you jump down. Angry lady's angry at you, so she goes in ults. That's alright. These are shoo. As you can see, so unlike most bosses, there's an ulti bar at the top. And that's an actual, that's her actual, ulti bar. So, and basically what we need to do is we need to kill this boss. We need to beat this guy before we can actually do damage to that. To get rid of this ulti bar. But it's very hard to do, so solo. So don't expect Guild Raid to be easy, for example. We kind of needed that alive, so it's also bad. But alright. Now when you do that solo with moderate difficulty, you can see that the ulti bar is pretty close to done. So we need to try to get as much damage in this as quick as possible. And every time you finish it, it gets closer and closer to finishing, and we just got auto to death. But if we basically go back in, you'll be able to see that, you know, that she has two forms, a light and a dark form. And she actually really hurt in that, or for level 1, so I'm guessing some people are already caused ulti for her, unfortunately. But basically, you don't want her to ult, because what she does when she ults is she does more damage and she takes less damage. So we're gonna go back in here. Hopefully we don't lose our Priscilla this time. We actually clicked that, so that's always unlucky. But we're actually gonna skip that and just get some more damage in. But yeah, the whole goal is to work on taking this guy out first. And basically, he strips, she strips, and steals beneficial effects on her, a lot of her abilities, so you gotta be careful of her, as well as, just applies a lot of nasty debuffs. So, this one in particular, she will steal all the debuffs and apply it to herself. But we got the turret down, and basically what we want to do is try to manage this turret too. We like to use Priscilla because it does 6 attacks in 1 ability. So you can see she has a crap ton of debuffs now. Some she applied to herself. Some, some that, she may have stolen. But yeah, we're just trying to get that turret down. You want to try to keep it at half. That way she doesn't ult, because again, 80% extra damage is 80% extra damage. So you kind of just monitor the turret over time while you fight it. Typically, in a big guild raid setting, you'll actually have someone just constantly on this. And here we're actually getting too far, and as you can see, she's actually about to turn into the next stage, where she'll go dark form. So we're just gonna keep fighting it for now until she goes dark form. Maybe. We're actually, so it's actually getting a little bit over half, so we're gonna, that didn't work. Okay, she went dark form. And basically we have to run to the other side now and actually take out this knight. All the abilities change, and what she does completely changes too. But this guy stays the same for the most part. I think he doesn't strip, but it gets very dangerous very quick though, especially when you're doing this solo. You definitely do not want to try to do this solo unless you're just you can't make guild raid and you're just having to go in. The only time you should really be ever trying to do this solo, because it's very especially if she ultis, it's very detrimental to the team. It's pretty much, it can be a red killer at level 5 just because she ultied, since it's basically she decreases damage taken by 80% or 20% or something like that. Point being, it's enough to matter. So Like here, she's gonna ult, and this is what the ult's gonna look like once she gets ult out here in a second. So she goes and flies across the map. And if you're not standing behind this one of the towers, you're just done for. So, and then you have to just make sure to get it back to normal because she will transform soon. But in this phase, she likes to dash around a lot. Obviously, when you try to use elemental advantage, depending on the point is. And just back to normal, and we're gonna have to kill the second one over here. As you can see, there's 6 golems, but she only spawns, you know, one every time you get out of the run, it resets it, so it's not too bad. But just about avoiding the attacks and grouping up and doing the mechanics as a team. It's guild raid for a reason, not, you know, anyone can do this raid. You definitely need teamwork for this, or else you're just kind of SOL. Here in a second, once we get out of here, I'll explain best comps and stuff like that. But we're just gonna try to live for a couple more seconds. Not going the best. We're out here fighting for our life, not gonna lie to you. It ain't easy. Just look at the amount of debuffs if you catch effects. And she's actually about to ult again too, that's how bad it would be. Yeah. That's the whole fight in terms of like just doing it naturally by yourself. Don't do it by yourself, that's what I'm trying to say this whole time. But we'll actually go into what units to look for and stuff like that, and how to combat, you know, the mechanics of the boss. So starting off, you want to dogpile the golem or the knight that spawns at the very start. It's guaranteed to spawn, and you know it will spawn. Or it's guaranteed to spawn at the start of every change. So as a collective group, you should be dogpiling it. There's, when it goes into how many people can go in and how the guild raid works, is 24 total people can go in at a time, and you'll be separated into 2 groups. I don't know if you saw on the top left whenever we were actually going through the guild raid, but there was actually a like little group thing in the top left that tells you who's all in your group, and those are the people who can pass beneficial and heal you, as well as, you know, all that kind of stuff. So make sure to look at that and try to surround yourself with those units, or around with those people. That way you're optimizing the amount of beneficial effects that you should get. And coordination wise, I strongly recommend having 1 or 2 people who primarily work on tower. That way you can keep it at 50-50 without too much of worrying about, you know, what's going on elsewhere. Units that I recommend for if you're going to be on the tower: the Wind Harpy, like what I was using. Let's see, Prelea, and this is due in fact to the fact that she throws 6 attacks. The towers, they only matter about how many times you hit it. It doesn't matter about the damage, the stats, or anything. It's literally just a flat how many times did the tower get hit. So units that do a lot of attacks very quickly, like Prelea, perfect, because it's a 2 mana cost ability that hits 6 times, so you can just monitor that tower really easily with her. Some other options, if you don't feel like building her, would be Yaku. Yaku has this. It only attacks once, so it's not as good. But he does have this one too, where he also hits 5 times for 4 mana. Still not as good as Prelea, but it is an option. Water Cowgirl is also really good, because she hit 6 times at 4 mana here, and then 2 times at 3 mana here. So she can be used as like a backup if you have to solo the tower, and then you could just like spam the Perlea and hope that her abilities are coming up at the same time. As far as how team comps for your groups of 12 should work, I recommend having 2 support teams that have like a support, a healer, and a damage dealer or something along those lines. You can even do like a support or like a Vertihile, Tiana, a Stead, or Wendy. Just so you can keep up like the shields and the crit damage up and the attack buffs and stuff like that on one person. You definitely want a couple healers just spread around. The ultimate damage, or and then it's just like good supports for this in general. Actually, would be like healers. So anything that can heal has a good AoE on heal, so you can hit your teammates. The stout's not terrible for this because the whole attack up and shield. She also gives mana up if your team's full in HP, or if your summoner's full in HP. I mean, you can also run Windy, as I was saying. Good. There's Windy. Windy does defense up and crit damage up, and has a passive of defense and up and shield to the team member with the lowest HP ratio during the fight. Pro is also a really good option. So, and you shouldn't necessarily even categorize yourself into support or damage roles unless you're like, I think you should have, in reality, on each team, 2 support people playing more of a supportish role where they're just trying to heal and apply buffs, and 2 people playing a pure damage role where they're just trying to dish out as much damage as possible. When it comes out to dishing out damage for, these teams that should only be dishing out damage, honestly, the only team I recommend for that would be Tiana. Tiana, because she increases ultimate gauge by 10% as long as it hits something. She has a 30% chance of increasing mana. She can strip, or this removes all beneficial effects, guaranteed if it's maxed. On top of that, paired with Vertihile, if you ulti with Vertihile, you get mana regen speed up, attack speed up, and mana cost down for 20 seconds if you have this level 2. So when it's at level 2 like that, basically what happens is you can spam any damaging ability at 1 mana. So if you take Argon, for example, and his Death Blow, this will cost 1 mana throughout the duration, and it does 3 hits of 1,000 plus damage, like, because it's 332 times 3 plus 49.8 times 3 times however many debuffs are on them. So it's really, really strong with that combination. If you don't have Argon, for example, you can also run Naranha if you're in NA or Korea, or you can run something along the lines of Naomi or Crow to maximize damage. Brandy is not bad. Tessarion honestly could be viable, depending on if you have a lot of people burning and stuff like that, just to try to get that extra damage out. And I think 2 people should on each team eventually. Obviously, due to the game being so new and global, you're probably not going to have 3 5-star units built. The nice thing about Vertihile, though, is you only need to have skill in his ulti. In reality of things, you just need that skill in the ulti because that's all you care about. And with Tiana, you only need the 7 skills in this. That way you can get that increased mana gauge by 20%, have the 50% chance of increased mana, so you can cycle faster. But using that combo, you can pretty much like stay at 1 mana the whole duration of the battle. So, and you just keep ulting with Vertihile and then switching to your damage dealer. This also works on field boss and stuff like that. So that's it. Basically, if you're running a full damage team, the team I recommend for most people, though, especially with the game being so new, would be something like Bastet, one of those damage dealers, and then like a debuffer damage dealer or a healer even. Because then you could, like, if you're running Bastet and Naomi and Helia, you're getting defense breaks down for your team and stuff like that. Because a lot of people are going to try to be on Elemental. And Dark Orbia and Light Orbia only applies one defense break every 30 seconds due to one of her passives. Kina doesn't apply any defense breaks or anything like that, or Brands, and neither does Cleef on those two. So this really helps in terms of like getting damage down and stuff like this. Like if you could run like Naomi Croa with like Lulu or Bastet or something like that. You just kind of want a combination on the team. Like if if it feels like you're not getting healed, maybe you just switch in a healer to help your team, stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of just you kind of want to coordinate with your guild leader and try to figure out what the best option is for your team and your guild. Because for us personally, we like to run two people on towers and have them provide buffs whenever the towers not need to be situated at the time. And then we like to have, a little bit of mixture of support and damage dealers. That way we can optimize, damage without worrying about one of the people who are maximizing damage units plinking out of nowhere. So, but anyways, that's pretty much my guide to how to do this. I hope the video I hope me running it and showing as well as explaining what was going on after helps. Let me know if this is a good video in the comment section below, and thank you for your time. And if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Thank you. Have a good one.